In 1983, my older sister moved in with her best friend Julie. Now, my sister, who was a bit of a rebel, finally had enough of my folks' house rules and decided she was done. And being that, 18-year-olds already know everything there is to know, she had no doubt that moving in with Julie and her mom was the best move she could make. She'd find out in short order how wrong she was. Now, the town we lived in had limited places for nightlife, but one that was popular when it was around was called the Captain's Table. And it was a large place, drinks, dancing, all that. A place to see and be seen. My sister had been living with Julie for several weeks, and one Sunday night, Julie decided that they needed to go out. The Captain's Table was calling her name. Now, my sister, who despite everything always had a good sixth sense about certain things, had a bad feeling about going out that night. She told her she wasn't into it. And despite Julie begging and cajoling her, telling her how much fun it'd be, my sister was adamant. I'm staying in. Julie's mother also echoed the sentiment, wanting them to stay in, saying she too had an odd feeling that something bad might happen if the girls were to go out. Julie was in many ways like my sister. Headstrong, did what she wanted. She was upset that they were both trying to get her to stay in. So she did what many hot-headed teenagers do. She threw on her coat, grabbed her car keys, and stormed out the front door. She was going to have fun come hell or high water. According to my sister, Julie's mom immediately took out the Bible and began reading and saying prayers for her daughter, which only added to the feeling of foreboding and creepiness that was in the house. She said for the first time she regretted leaving our house and moving. That sense of safety and family that she felt there was nowhere to be seen. So Julie arrives at the Captain's Table, and it's packed for a Sunday night. People are there, the parking lot is full. She goes in and looks for familiar faces, but there are few to be seen. She gets a drink and is sitting at the bar when a handsome stranger walks up to her and introduces himself. He, according to Julie, was gorgeous. He asks her to dance, and she, of course, immediately accepts, taking his hand and stepping out onto the crowded dance floor. They dance, and dance some more. And she's never danced with such a graceful partner. She's having a blast, and then Julie notices something. It was small at first, but then it becomes more and more apparent as the night goes on. It was his smell. It was hardly noticeable at first, but as they danced, it became stronger. It reminded her, she later told my sister, of dead people, of a funeral home. Finally, she leaned in and asked him where he worked at. Why? He asked. Well, don't take this the wrong way, but you kind of smell. The dark dancer smirked and asked what he smelled like. She told him she thought he might work at a funeral home or a graveyard. He had that sort of odor. He only smiled a secret smile, and they kept dancing. She assumed he was too embarrassed to answer. So the night wears on, and the dance floor thins out, and Julie is finally ready to leave and leans in and tells him that she has to go. And as she does, she glances down for the first time and sees his feet in the strobing lights of the dance floor. He had a cloven hoof and a rooster's claw instead of 2 feet. Now that, in many traditions, is what the devil walks around on. Julie screams and backs away, freaking out. People are moving in, making sure she's okay, and she's pointing at the guy, the dancer. But he's not there. He's gone. Disappeared. She's shaken and wants to leave, of course. So immediately she heads out to her car in the now almost empty parking lot. To her relief, it's well lit and the coast is clear, with no other cars near hers. She gets in, starts her car, and then hears a knock on her window. She looks out, and the guy's there, the dancer, smiling at her. She loses it, speeds out of the parking lot. When she glances back, the guy's gone. She later told my sister that there was no place for him to go in that almost empty parking lot. She speeds home and pulls into the driveway and runs to the front door, fumbling with her keys. As she's unlocking the front door, she hears a car pull up in front of her house and stop, the engine idling. She turns and looks, and in the darkness of the car, she sees a figure at the steering wheel, a figure with glowing red eyes, staring right at her. Needless to say, she nearly tears down the front door trying to get in. My sister said she heard the door slam open with Julie screaming for her mom. She was inconsolable, saying she was sorry for going out, saying that she saw the devil. According to my sister, the scene was horrifying. She moved back to our house the next day.